Welcome back to my channel Enkindle Kids Learning. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. With this motivational quote, myself Nandita D'Souza presenting you the lesson on getting to know plants. Watch the video till the end to understand this chapter thoroughly. So let's begin our chapter Getting to Know Plants. What are we going to study in this particular chapter? So the topics to be covered are first is introduction, followed by classification of plants, herbs, shrubs, trees, creepers, climbers, parts of a plant, stem, leaves, flowers, and roots. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in this chapter. Moving on to the introduction part. If you look around and observe around you, you will observe a lot of variation. A variety of plants exist around us. Some are tall, some are short, and some are medium in height. Variation exists in terms of size, shape, and color of leaves also. Some plants produce big beautiful flowers, whereas some do not produce any flowers. There exists variation in terms of size, color, shape, and even fragrance of flowers. So basically, what I'm telling you is there is a lot of variation in plants around us. And in this chapter, we will study about each plant in detail. So let's begin our chapter, that is Getting to Know Plants. Classification of plants. Based on characters of plants, plants are classified as herbs, shrubs, and trees. We will now study about each one of them in detail. So first we are going to study about herbs. What is a herb? Herbs are plants with green and tender stem, that is soft stem. These are actually non-woody stem. We can easily bend its stem. Usually herbs are short in height and they have few branches. As you can see in this picture, it's a tulsi plant. It is a herb. Why? It has a green and soft non-woody stem. And if you try to bend its stem, you can easily do that. It is also short in height and has got few branches. Let's look at some more examples of herbs. Pudina plant or mint plant is also a herb. Coriander plant or dhania plant. Tulsi, grass around us, spinach or palak, wheat plant, all of these are herbs. Now we will move on to shrubs. What is a shrub? Plants which are taller than herbs but shorter than trees are called as shrubs. Branching in shrubs starts near the base or close to the ground. The stem is hard but not very thick. You can see here in the picture the branching is near to the base or close to the ground, and stem is hard but not very thick like the tree. Some more examples for shrub are Turanta plant and China rose plant. As you can see, these are taller than herbs but shorter than trees. They have woody stem and also the branches are starting near the base or close to the ground. Which is the next category? The next category is called as the trees. What are trees? Trees are very tall. They have hard and thick brown stem, which is also called as trunk of the tree. The stem have branches in the upper part, much above the ground. As you can see in this picture, it is very tall. It has hard and thick brown stem and the branches are much above the ground, mostly in the upper part of the tree. So now can we clearly differentiate between herbs, shrubs and trees? Let's try to do that. In this picture, is it possible for you to clearly differentiate between herbs, shrubs and trees? These plants over here, these are called as herbs, whereas these are called as shrubs and these are called as trees. Alright, so in this table, we have clearly differentiated between the herbs, shrub and tree depending upon their characters. Based on their height, herb is the smallest, whereas shrub, it is taller than the herbs but smaller than trees, whereas tree is the tallest. Based on stem, herb has got soft and green stem, whereas shrub has hard but not very thick stem, and the tree is got the hardest and thickest stem. Based on where do branches appear, for herb no or very few branches appear, whereas in shrub the branches appear near the base or close to the ground, whereas in the tree the branches appear at the height much above than the ground level. Moving further, some plants have weak stems and they cannot stand upright. Examples are, one is creepers. What is a creeper? Creepers are plants that spreads or creeps on the ground. Examples are watermelon, muskmelon, pumpkin, etc. So this is about creepers. And which is the second type of plants? They are called as climbers. What are climbers? Plants that take support of neighboring structures and climbs up. So these are called as climbers. What are the neighboring structures? It can be a wall, it can be a fence, it can be a tree. With the support of these things, they climb up. For example, money plant, peace plant, bitter gourd, bottle gourd, etc. So this is about the climbers. So we came to know about creepers and climbers. Creepers are the plants they spread on the ground, whereas climbers are the plants they take the support of their neighboring structure and climb up. Okay, so now let's study about the parts of a plant. Very important, very important topic. Parts of a plant. We all have seen a plant. We have seen the roots. We have seen the fruit. We have seen the stem. We have seen the flower. We have seen the leaf, isn't it? We have seen all these parts of a plant. But in this chapter, you will have to learn about these parts in detail. We know that the shoot system consists of flower, fruit, stem and leaf, whereas the root system consists of the roots. First we will study about the shoot system of the plant. What is it? The stem, the leaves and the flower in detail. Let's begin by studying about stem. Stem. Stem holds the plant upright. We all know that this is the stem. Stem bears leaves, flowers and fruits. The two important functions of a stem are: stem carries water and minerals from soil to different parts of the plant through special tubes called as xylem. Stem also carries food which is prepared in leaves to different parts of plant through special tubes called as phloem. Let's understand this in detail. Water and minerals absorbed by roots is transported to other parts of the plant by xylem. We all know roots absorb water and minerals from soil, and this water and mineral from the soil is being carried to all the parts of the plant through this special tube which is present in the stem, that is called as xylem. Hence the roots absorb water and minerals from the soil, and this has been transported to other parts of the plant by the special tubes present in the stem called as xylem. Hence, the water and minerals is being transported from the roots to the other parts of the plant. Alright, we also know that food is prepared by the leaves in the plant by the process of photosynthesis. Now, this food is transported to other parts of the plant again by stem with the help of special tubes called as phloem. So what we studied was water and minerals are transported by xylem and food is transported by phloem to the different parts of the plant. Here we have an experiment to show stem conducts water. That is, stem transports water and minerals to different parts of the plant. Let's look at the experiment. First, you will have to take a glass and fill it with water. Add a few drops of ink to the water. Cut the base of the stem of the herb and put it in the glass. Observe it the next day. What happens? Color of the flower will change. How? Because the stem has transported this colored water to different parts including flower, and this is how the flower got the blue color. So here what happens? We have a white rose stem. We dip this particular white rose in the blue ink. So what did we observe? We observed that the flower color has changed to bluish. How? Because that stem has transported this blue water to the flower, isn't it? So this proves that the stem transports or conducts water. Okay, after studying about stem, now let's study about leaves. Under leaves, first we will study about the parts of the leaves. This broad green part of leaf is called as the lamina. Part of the leaf by which it is attached to the stem is called as the petiole. There are small lines present on the leaves and they are called as veins. And a thick vein in the middle of the leaf is called as the midrib. And the minute veins around the vein is called as the vinelets. What is leaf venation? Leaf venation is nothing but the pattern of veins on the leaf. The pattern of veins on the leaf is called as venation. There are two types of venation. One is reticulate and the other is parallel venation. Let's study about each one in detail. The first one is reticulate venation. If the design is net-like on both sides of midrib, then the venation is called as reticulate venation. The net-like design on both sides of the midrib. Can you see here? Yes, even here and even here. So these are called as reticulate venation. Which is the next type of venation? That is parallel venation. What is parallel venation? If the design made by veins is parallel to one another, then the venation is called as parallel venation. Here, the veins are parallel to one another. Can you see here? Yes. So, this type of venation is called as parallel venation. Now, let's study about the two important functions of leaves. What are those? The two important functions of leaves are photosynthesis and transpiration. What is photosynthesis? Plants prepare food by the process of photosynthesis, and photosynthesis occurs in leaves of the plant. Leaves absorb carbon dioxide from the air and water and minerals from the soil in the presence of sunlight and with the help of chlorophyll pigment which is present in the green leaf. The leaf produces carbohydrates and oxygen. This is the process of photosynthesis. So, with the help of some experiment, we will try to prove that leaves prepare food or carbohydrates by photosynthesis. We have studied in chapter 2 that to test the presence of carbohydrate or starch, we can perform iodine test. So we will perform this iodine test on our leaf. But before that, we know that our leaf is green colored. And if we put iodine solution over it, we cannot clearly observe the color change because it is already pre-colored. So first we will turn our leaf into colorless. So for this you will have to take the leaf and put a leaf in a test tube and pour spirit to completely cover the leaf. Then you will have to put the test tube in a beaker half filled with water. Then you will have to heat the beaker till all the green color from the leaf comes out into the spirit in the test tube. Take out the leaf carefully and wash it in water. Put it on a plate and pour some iodine solution over it. Leaf color will change to blue, which indicates the presence of starch in leaves. So this is how we have proved that the leaves contain starch. Now we will also try to prove that leaves carry out photosynthesis because this experiment proves that leaves contain starch, but this doesn't prove that the starch was prepared by leaves only, isn't it? So now we'll try to prove that it is the leaf performs photosynthesis or prepares carbohydrates. For this, what you will have to do? First, place a potted plant with green leaves in a dark room for a day or two. Now cover a portion of a leaf of the plant completely with black paper and leave the plant in the sun for a day. Remove the leaf covered in black paper and repeat the test for starch. Leaves covered with paper will not turn blue black with iodine solution. That means there is no starch there. Leaves which were not covered by the paper show the presence of starch. So this proves that the leaves carry out photosynthesis in the presence of sunlight. Okay, now we'll study another important function of leaf, that is transpiration. We know that roots absorb water and minerals from soil. Some of the water is utilized in the process of photosynthesis for the preparation of food, right? Then the excess water is transpired by the leaves in the form of water vapor, and this process is called as transpiration. Okay, now we'll try to prove that leaves do transpiration. For this, you will have to take a medium sized and well watered plant. Remove all the leaves of one twig of this plant and cover its twig with polythene bag. Cover any other twig with leaves with polythene bag also. Leave the plant in sunlight for an hour or two. Drops of water will appear on the inner side of the bag that covered the leafy twig. No water drops will be seen on the inner side of the bag over the twig without leaves. This shows that leaves do transpiration, that is, release excess water in the form of vapor to air. Okay, so after studying about stem and leaves, now let's study about flower. So what is a flower? Flower is mainly the reproductive part of plant. What are the parts of the flower? The parts of the flower are petals, sepals, pistil, and stamen. Pistil is the female reproductive part of flower. Stamen is the male reproductive part of flower. Now let's study about each of these parts in detail. Okay, so let's study about petals. It is the colored part of flower. Here you can see the different multiple colors, isn't it? So this is called as petals. What is sepal? Sepals are small leaf-like structure, the outermost green color part that enclose the bud. So these are sepals which are green in color and they enclose the bud. So now we understood the difference between Petal and sepal, right? Good. Now let's move forward. So now let's study about pistil and stamen. I've already told you pistil is a female reproductive part. It consists of stigma, style, ovary and ovule. So it's a female reproductive part of the flower which consists of stigma, style, ovary and ovule. What about stamen? Stamen is a male reproductive part of a flower, the pollen producing part of the flower. Stamen has two parts, that is anther and filament. Anther produces pollen grains. Okay, now let's move forward. Here we will study about the ovary, internal structure of ovary. Ovary is lowermost or swollen part of pistil. This is ovary. And if you cut open the ovary, you will find ovules. What is ovules? Ovules are small bead-like structures inside the ovary. You can see here, right? So this is inside the ovary. They are called as ovules. So we know the parts of a flower now. Here, this is petal, this is sepal, this is ovule, this is stalk, these are the ovary, this is the style, and this is the stigma, together called as pistil, whereas this is the anther and this is the filament, together called as stamen. Here, pistil is the female part of a flower, whereas the stamen is the male part of the flower. Now we'll try to understand how fertilization happens in a flower. I told you anthers are the pollen producing parts. The pollen grains are produced in this anther and these pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the flower. How? By honeybees, by wind, by houseflies, etc. So when pollen grains are transferred from anther to stigma, these pollen grains will travel down through the style and will reach ovary. In ovary, eggs are present and here the pollen grains will fertilize the egg, and that's how the ovules present in the ovary will turn out into seed and the ovary will turn out into a fruit. So after the fertilization, the ovary will swell and it will gradually become bigger and bigger in size and it will turn into a fruit. Okay, so after studying about stem, leaves and flower, now we'll study about roots. The roots help in holding the plant firmly in the soil. Roots absorb water and minerals from the soil and the stem transports these to other parts of the plant. We already know this, right? The roots absorb the water and minerals from the soil and the stem transports these to other parts of the plant. What are the types of roots? The roots are of two types, that is, one is taproot and other one is fibrous root. Let's study each one in detail. What is a taproot? In this type of root system, there is one prominent and long main root and a bunch of smaller lateral or side roots that grow from this main root. What about the fibrous root? In this type of root system, all the roots emerge directly from the base of the plant. They do not have a main root. Okay, just by looking at the leaves of a plant, you can tell about the kind of roots it has. If the leaves has reticulate venation, then the root type will be taproot system. For example, a rose plant, and if the leaves has parallel venation, then the root type is fibrous root system. For example, maize. Okay, to understand the functions of root, we'll perform a simple activity. You have to take two potted plants and you will have to remove roots from one of the plant. Label the plant with the root as A and label the plant without the roots as B. After potting the plants, you will have to water these plants for 7 days regularly. And after 7 days, you observe the plants. You will observe that the plant in the pot A with the roots intact will stand erect. It is difficult to pull it out as roots provide support, and the plant will show normal growth and development as roots help in the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. But the plant in the pot B with no roots, it will not stand erect, it will fall, and it's easier to put it out. The plant will eventually die because there are no roots. Alright? There are some plants or some trees which has aerial roots also. Like you can see here one, right? The banyan tree. Have you seen these kind of roots? These are called as aerial roots. So we'll take a quick recap on what we studied under getting to know plants. First, we went through all the topics to be covered in this particular lesson. Under introduction, we saw that there are a variety of plants around us. Some are small, some are big, and some are very big. Then we saw the classification of the plants. First is the herbs. What are herbs? Herbs are the smallest plants. They have non-woody stem and can be bent easily. Then comes the shrubs, whereas shrubs are bigger than herbs but smaller than trees. They have light woody stem and the branches appear from its base, that is near to the ground. And then comes the trees. Trees are the biggest among all. They have very thick woody stem called as trunk, and the branches mainly appear on the topmost part of the plant away from the ground. Not only that, there are again two more kind of plants. Those are creepers and climbers. What are creepers? Creepers are the plants that spreads on the ground, whereas climbers are the plants that climb with the support of their neighboring structures like maybe a wall or fence, etc. Then we came across the parts of the plant. The parts of the plant is been divided into two main categories. That is, one is shoot system and one more is a root system. What is shoot system? Shoot system consists of flower, fruits, leaves, stem. What about root system? Root system consists of the roots of the plant. Under the root system, they are again categorized into two types, that is taproot and the fibrous root. There is one more kind of root, that is aerial root also. So this is the quick recap on whatever we studied under this chapter.
Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel Enkindle Kids Learning for all the upcoming videos. See you in my next video.